It's WDHA's Reconnect with Rockers. I am super psyched to have this artist on Reconnect with me. First of all, because we're reconnecting him with the rock world. Second of all, I'm a fan. And third of all, I don't even know where to start with Chris Daughtry because there's just so much ground to cover. First of all, thank you for hanging out with me today. And it's wonderful to
Thank you
see
for
you. You
having
look as
me.
great as ever. You always look
Oh, thank
exactly the
you.
same. You never change.
Thank you. Well, except for all this gray. That's new.
I like it though.
Actually, it's not new. I just stopped dyeing it.
It's a great pandemic look, I think. I think it
I,
fits you
you
very
know,
well.
I think this whole pandemic has just made me realize, like, get rid of the fake shit, stay as real as possible, and it's made me better for it.
Well, I'll tell you something. I don't think we have a choice.
No.
I'm like the big mouth girl, but I like the Glam Squad, and I haven't seen the Glam Squad, so I'm feeling very, like I've got that Rastafarian hair. Like I feel like
Looks
we sort
amazing.
of, it's surprising what we've been able to do that we never thought we would be able to do these days.
Yeah.
You know, so you have a great new tune that has just dropped, World on Fire. So awesome, from your upcoming
Thank you
record,
so much.
which we'll talk about. I'm going to start by rewinding,
Sure.
because I want to start. I always thought you were such a brilliant contestant on Idol, and I'll tell you why. For multiple reasons. It was season 5, right? Season 5?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
I thought you used that show to do exactly what people should use that show to do. I was so thrilled you didn't win, because I thought, oh God, if this guy wins, he's never going to be able to do anything he wants to.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
very happy that you didn't win. But I thought you went on and you showed people that there was an audience to be part of a rock community. And
Mm,
I thought that that was so important for that show at that time. You were the first rock guy. They've had some rock guys that have come after you, but you were the guy that sort of opened that up and made it really legitimate for the maybe non-rockers or, other folks that were, top 40 folks or whatever they were,
yeah.
to like rock and roll. So I thought you really used it as a perfect vehicle to increase your fan base, get your message out, and show people what you could do. Did you know you were going to do that, or did it just turn out that way?
I kind of knew. I kind of used it as an audition for all the record labels I couldn't get in front of, And I knew what kind of artist I was going on it, and I knew the type of music I wanted to do. And there were, Bo Bice and Constantine did some rock stuff the season before, which kind of gave me the idea that maybe there is some room for myself, and I've kind of leaned a little more onto the modern rock side of things, and I hadn't seen anyone do anything like that on the show before. So I was thinking, okay, I'll get on here, I'll make it a week or two, and at least
Right.
people will know who I am. And I was picking songs that weren't like mainstream
You're picking
hits,
like
and
live, like deep live tracks.
yeah, or Fuel, or
Fuel, right? Right.
so it for me, that I certainly got a lot of pushback, from the producers and Jed, like, nobody's gonna know this song, and I'm like, that's fine. Like, for me, it was about, if I'm gonna do a record, I at least want people to know what kind of record I'm gonna do, so they'll either be a fan or they won't. So that was it. I certainly lasted a lot longer than my original plan, and
Than
then
you
I
ever
just
thought.
kind of
Yeah.
then I
And
just
I
dug
think it's
in.
important. People don't realize too, on a show like that, it's, guys, when people say, oh, it's a talent show, but guys, you still need to have rock represented. We
Yeah,
need that community out there. You need young people to engage. You need young fans to engage with somebody like you, to
yeah,
say, wait, what was that song? Who is that artist? I didn't know about this artist. So I don't think people realize, the importance of having someone like you on a show like that. I think it's sort of like, it's kind of, people just sort of, it goes over their head, and then it's a talent show and you didn't
yeah,
win. But I thought what you did with it was brilliant. And I thought that you just getting that fan base, getting out, touring, doing constant touring and being on the road and doing what a rocker does, and gaining that fan base after that show and kind of leaving
yeah,
it in its proper place, was really such a great move,
yeah. I
for you
mean,
as an artist.
I spent almost 10 years playing in little shit dive bars, before that. So, and then after the show, I went back to playing those kind of same capacity rooms. And it was a lot of fun because before I was basically playing for my guest list,
Right,
and
right, right.
half of them would never even show up and be like, "Oh, sorry, man, I got tired. I'll come next time." And now they're the same ones, "Hey, man, can I get tickets to the show?"
Right.
So yeah, I definitely did my homework, but it was interesting because I had come from playing in a band to playing very far away from a band, and this was before you could play your own instruments on the show. So that was a little tough to get used to for me.
When did you know you could write? I mean, when did you know? You always struck me as a guy too. Obviously, he's not after the fame, but
Mm.
really after the, kind of artistic part of it. So when did you know you were a good songwriter? When did you know you could write songs?
Well, I knew I could write songs at around 16. I didn't know they were. I didn't think they were good though. I mean, I could write songs. I didn't really hone that in until after the show. I think I
Hmm.
had written home before the show. I had written a couple songs off the first record before the show, but I think just doing it more consistently and working with other writers, I kind of learned, Brent Smith being one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
I learned a lot from those guys, and how to craft a song and actually say something, and I grew up listening to bands and I didn't know what the hell they were saying. I just loved the sound of it, like Tool. I had no idea what Maynard was saying, but
No, no one
I
did, but
love
we
I
loved it. Yeah.
but I love the melodies, and so I never really focused on the lyrics until later. My lyrics were pretty juvenile up to that point.
Too, but I think also gaining that fan base, I think that gives you a little bit of courage.
Oh yeah. Well,
You
it
probably
also
got a
makes
little bit of
you
courage where you were like, you know what? You start to get that sort of fearless, reckless abandon where you're not so afraid to take chances, which is
right.
another great positive for you.
Well,
Um,
part of it was courage. Part of it was like, I gotta show up here. I gotta really
yeah,
like get good at my craft.
yeah, courage and a little bit of desperation because you're like, you know what? I don't want to
Yes.
do this job anymore. Now I'm sort of onto this path.
Yeah.
And what you're doing, I think, with this virtual tour, because everybody's gotten like you and so many other artists putting out new records, and then all of a sudden, dun 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 dun, you
Yeah.
know, everything just stops for you, and people are like, okay, listen, instead of getting pissed off at the world, let me figure out a way to get creative. I love that you are embarking on this virtual tour, 19 acoustic stops. It's going to be live. So every show,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
correct, Chris, is going to be
Yep.
live.
We started it last night, and it was our first one, and it was great. It went well. The fans seemed to love it, and we had a lot of fun. It's certainly weird to get used to not, receiving that energy back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, being bored around the house and like, man, I miss performing. Didn't realize how much of my identity was wrapped up into the stage.
Yeah.
And we were like, man, we got to figure this out. And then my manager was like, well, what if we partnered with these local venues? And I was like, can we do that? That sounds like a great idea. We know how important they are to the community and to artists like myself. And we want to see these businesses thrive and continue to go on during this ridiculous time,
Yeah, absolutely. And for us, we're getting the Mercury Lounge in New York
Yes.
City represented, which has been such an iconic place. How many people have we seen there? And what is cool is you are also doing a portion of the proceeds of the tickets to go to. I want people to know, the
Yes.
venue.
Goes
So
to these
please,
venues.
we've been giving them away on WDHA, but I really want people to be able to buy them because it's so important because you can help our venues, stay alive. And it's very concert like, which is what I like to tell people because
Yeah.
I've been, to a few of these virtual shows. And you're doing a whole like submitting questions for a Q&A. You've got the copy of the set list signed. You've got these virtual kind of meet and greet things and merch bundles and t-shirts and everything that sort of gives people that experience that you're going to see your favorite artist live.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fun. We're in a club. We're at this place called Mercy Lounge in Nashville. And we're set up, and it feels like a show.
Yeah.
I'm not just in my office here, although that's fun too because I'm surrounded by Batman
You've probably
statues.
seen a
And
lot of The Office, though, over the last couple of months. It's been a lot of Office
yeah,
time.
I think the fans know my office quite well now. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So what has it been like for you? During the quarantine time. Is the record fully done yet? Are you still working on
No,
it?
we were deep into making the record back in January, February, and
Wow.
we had some solid momentum going. And I had gotten my parts done for about half the record, and then we hadn't had a chance to bring the band in and record their parts. So when we finally chose the single, we had them record all their stuff at home. So it was, that was unique. We'd never done that before, and
Yeah.
everybody recorded their parts, and it all worked out.
Yeah.
And so right now it's on a bit of a hold, but we're after this virtual tour, we're going to get back in the studio and start cranking on it again.
And you know what? I think that this has been a time for people too to decide how to release music. I've spoken
Yeah,
to artists, that have been on this feature with me, Taylor Momsen being one from the Pretty Reckless, where
yeah,
her record was done. And then you've got other people that are still working on records. And then people that don't know whether they're going to release this year. Some decided to, some are waiting till next year. But the cool
yeah,
thing is you can sort of give the music to the fans
yeah,
as we get closer to the release of a full length, because I mean that's the beauty of trying to figuring out your way through this whole thing, is you can kind of make your own rules a little bit.
yeah. Well, this song is interesting. I wrote this song back in January um, when Australia was on fire,
Wow.
and there was some police brutality still going on even then. So a lot of that stuff made it into the lyrics, and then fast forward to March, and me and Scott, our producer Scott Stevens from the X's, you might remember,
Oh yeah, sure.
um, we were like, "Holy shit!" It's like we had a crystal ball. It's crazy how that worked out. And so there was certainly a time where we were thinking like maybe we'll release it next year, but it felt like we needed to get it out. So
Yeah, and I'm so happy you did, because I think now is not only a perfect time just because the song fits, but
right.
people are
And
so
this airs
glad.
next week, so we don't have to worry about spoiling anything for anybody.
Right.
Right.
But people are so gravitating towards music and artists that they love. I think it's so important. I hear it from listeners all the time. We started this feature because people were like, but
Yeah.
everybody always comes to WDHA, and you guys do listener appreciation shows, and you guys do these big, Rock the Park concerts and end of summer meltdown concerts and DHA presents stuff and people
Yeah.
in your studios where you bring the fans in. We're not going to get any of that. And we're like, well, we have to figure out a way to do that. So I love that you said, you know what? No, we're putting this out right now. I think the
Yeah.
timing is just perfect for people.
Thank you. Yeah, we kind of went back and forth. We're like, we really wanted to be on the road when this gets released. We really
Sure.
wanted to represent it and build some live shows around it. But there's always 2021.
Yeah. No, you know what? There is always 2021. It's going to be here faster than we know. And
Yeah.
I'm really happy. I'm going to just go on record and say this. I'm happy that we have you back in the rock world, because I feel like there's been a
Thank you.
battle for you. Did you ever feel like there has been a battle for you? And I also wanted to ask you, were were there times in your career where you felt like people were making you battle and making you sort of choose? That's why I was happy you didn't win, because I felt like people
Right.
were going to always try to infiltrate that.
I mean, yeah, there's certainly, how do I put this without bashing anyone? Well, I can just say that there was a lot of people that didn't get us as a band. They didn't understand that we were a rock band, and there was this pressure to kind of keep up with the radio, keep up with the
Mhm.
times, and part of that was my own fault as well. Like you get into this place where you start to question everything. Like, am I what am I doing? Is it relevant anymore, or do I need to switch gears here? So there was certainly the experimentation side of it for my own personal uh, you know curiosity, and then there was the kind of the unspoken pressure that we felt to live up to that pop world and still be a rock artist in the pop world. And in hindsight, not sure if it worked. So this is the kind of record I've been wanting to make for years. I think
I
this is
can
the kind of
tell.
record. I
Yeah.
think this is the kind of record our fans have been wanting us to make for years. And I'm no longer on RCA, and I've just got more freedom to create, I think, what I've always wanted to create.
And what I want to say too is, I mean, and there was nothing wrong with people battling over you. I think it's a good thing because
Yeah,
people don't battle over non-quality artists,
yeah,
so my hat goes off to you because everybody wanted you writing great songs and you had a really cool band. And here's what I said when they played me World on Fire. First of all, when I heard I heard the guitar in the beginning, and the guitar reminded me of like a Mark Tremonti kind of alter bridge sound
Oh, nice.
at
Okay.
first. And I was like, okay, well, this is going to definitely sound great on DHA. So, and then as
Yeah,
soon as your vocal came in, bam, I mean, it just hit me. I'm like, oh, it's Chris Daughtry. It's a new Daughtry record. I
that's
mean, it was
awesome.
so easy. And it was funny because our afternoon guy too, I said, come in the office. I want to play something for you. Who is this? And literally, he's like the guitar, he's listening to the guitar. And then vocals come in and he's like, it's Chris Daughtry. So, people don't battle over an artist that's not a quality artist.
Well,
So
thank you so
certainly
much for saying
nothing,
that.
nothing that you did, but we're very happy to
Yeah.
have you back at Rock, because what I was going to say, circling back, and I kind of got lost there when I was thinking about the single, you also put asses in seats.
Yeah. We're very fortunate that asses do end up in seats.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Daughtry,
Yeah.
Daughtry shows go on sale and it's not cricket.
Right, right.
So
Thank God. Thank God.
that's fantastic.
And thank the fans, because they're the ones that
The fans are
allow us
there,
to do what
man.
we do. Yeah.
The fans are there. So you guys can hit our website, WDHAFM.com. We will link you to the Daughtry site to get everything that you need for this great virtual experience that's going to happen this Friday, which
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to it. I don't hate sometimes not being out, and I'll tell you why. While nothing will do the live experience where you're live in person,
Yeah.
sometimes to sit, lay in your bed, you don't have to drive home, you can get that
Nobody's
extra,
spilling beer on you.
nobody's puking on your shoes, you can get that
Exactly.
extra glass of wine in,
Exactly.
and I've told people that, the virtual experience is what we have right now. And I highly suggest that everybody does it, because you do it and then you want to go to the next one. Like the first one I
Yeah.
ever did was Bush, and I was like, well, when's the next one?
Yeah. It was a
When's
lot of
the next
fun.
one?
And then the meet and greet part is much
What's
like
that been
this.
like? Yeah.
It's like me talking to you right now.
Wow.
It's really cool, and I had a lot of fun doing that last night. That was the first time I've ever done anything like that, and it just, I don't know, it was really cool. Everybody's in their home, they're comfy, and there's no like weird pressure like where they're getting ushered through a line, and
Yeah.
you got 30 seconds to say hi, and then they don't even remember it because they're frazzled or whatever.
Coughing in their
And this,
hand and then shaking
yeah,
yours. None of
exactly,
that's happening,
yeah,
which is good,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
really good.
You don't have to wear pants if you don't want to.
I don't think I've worn actual like pants. I've been in shorts the whole time. Winter,
Do you
spring,
do you want
summer,
to
fall.
see
It's great.
do you want to see what I'm wearing right now?
Yeah.
I am wearing these harem pants.
I
I
love
live
it.
in these things.
I love,
They're literally they're the most comfortable thing I've ever put on my body.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not wearing,
Perfect.
I'm not actually wearing pants, but I am wearing shorts. I'm not doing the naked Chris Daughtry interview. Man, now I'm really starting to get red here.
I'm sure some people do it.
Well, it's very comfortable, when you are
I
in
picture news anchors wearing a 3-piece suit from the waist up, and then everything else is free game.
it's your anchorman moment. Oh, and you know what I think is cool too that you guys are doing with the show too? You're doing it where you really sort of, they call it geofencing, but you're making sure that
Yes.
people that are in the markets that want to support the Mercury Lounge,
Yes, very
the
important.
tri-state area, are able to get their tickets and don't get shut out, which I think is so incredibly important. So you don't have the same, X amount of fans that are at every single show. You want to make sure that it's opened up to the rest of your fans, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Whose idea was that? Was that your idea?
That was my manager. He had that
Great.
idea, and we were very happy that we were able to pull that off. And it keeps it from, it keeps people from being able to see the exact same thing over and over. And we can make it special for each
Yeah, you guys are going to do
location.
some
And
exclusive things and different set
yeah,
lists and get the fans, really involved in
exactly.
it, which I think is so important now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant, just a brilliant thing that you guys are doing, and especially helping out the Mercury Lounge, which is such an important venue in New York City. So, Chris, if people want to go to
absolutely.
your website,
Yes.
hit us with your website again.
DaughtryOfficial.com,
Yep.
and on Instagram it's my personal is Chris Daughtry, and then the band account is at Daughtry. So
Yay. And of course,
awesome.
get all your tickets at WDHAFM.com too. We can link you guys and gals up. It has been such a pleasure to hang out with
Thank you so
you.
much for the support, and thank you
Yay.
for the kind words. It means more than you know. Thank you.
Yay. And
It's good
greetings
talking
from
to you.
Jersey. We're so happy to have you back. And I just love World on Fire. And
Thank you
so do the
so
fans.
much.
Just awesome, awesome stuff. Chris Daughtry, thank you so
Awesome.
much for being on Reconnect with
Thank you.
Rockers.
Thank you.
DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Advantage Contracting and by Karis Lock Company.